and welcome to assignment 2, the executive summary. In order to successfully complete this task, you need to review assignment number 1 and consider the proposed network deployment that you modify by integrating sustainability in ICT planning and design. You also need to review the following documents published on TAFE Online. The business case. This resource explains what the business case is and its purpose, and how you can produce a full business case in a lengthy document. In this assignment you will produce the executive summary only. So we have done part of the business case into the assignment number 1, but now all we want to do is the executive summary of the business case. As part of the executive summary, there is a cost and benefit analysis to be done, and there is a document on TAFE Online, and this is a 14-page resource rich with external links available on TAFE Online, and that will empower you in understanding the cost benefit analysis is part of the executive summary. You need to review the documents that we already know, the World Medic proposed upgrade, and the business case for ICT sustainability, which is your assignment number 1. And then the stakeholder management. This is the 9-page resource available on TAFE Online as well. So these documents are all published into the A to Z resource folder when you log in, and so you download them and study them well and do further research as required. But for now, we're gonna look at the executive summary. What you need to do is part of this document. You need to do a reference and the version history and approval. What does it all means here? Have a look at the references. While preparing this business case, you may have consulted a number of documents. Complete this section as shown into the description. Now have a look at it. I have done this one already. Okay, so in the document name there is a 2012 annual report that I have consulted, and the description is discuss the company performance and challenges for 2012. Where was it located? Was located into the company library. Also in 2013, I consulted the current company ICT sustainability culture and strategy. So this document describes the current status of the company ICT on sustainability, and again the location where I found it is in the company library. And 2013 again, the server virtualization feasibility study, which was conducted prior to the initiating any virtualization deployment, and this is the initial proposal for virtualization. Again, it is located into the company library. Now please note that the above are examples only. You should include all company documents that you have consulted preparing this business case. Of course, in here you can refer to your you can list the case study if you're working on the case study document, the proposed network upgrade, any other assignments that will give you understanding of what you are doing here. All right, and anything else that comes into mind. All right, and once you finish this part, there is the next section which says a version history of the business case versions. Now if this is the only version, there is no previous version, you can leave it blank. If it is already that you have worked and then you have made modifications, you can say the first version was version 1.0 and your current version will be 1.1, for example, was implemented by Stephen Roach. I have placed it here. The revision date was on this date, it was approved by this other person, an approval date, and then the reason it complies with the current ICT sustainability requirements. So this is just to keep track of all the work that you have previously done prior the writing of this business case. Then of course you require approval. The approval, you can use all of this form. As a matter of fact, for all of this you can just copy and just up to date in the references part and history, you can copy and then you can paste it into your document, and of course just change all the entries. You can use this part is just as a template. That's what it is. The next is the executive summary. What is the current situation? But before we do that, I just like to show you the documents that you need to consult. What will be beneficial to you guys is to look very carefully at this document, which is the business case, document, how to write a business case, which is available on TAFE Online. This one will continually discuss about this topic, and will really help you in fully understanding what a business case it is about. The next document you need to look at is the cost and benefit analysis. The cost and benefit analysis is another important document that will help you understanding what a cost and benefit analysis is and how this can be done. This document discusses all things that you should know about a cost and benefit analysis and how it is applied to the course that you are doing. And also you will need the World Medic Proposed Network, which is this one here. We have already looked at before if you're working on to the case study, and so we need to move on without discussion, and so therefore we now move to go directly to the executive summaries. Now I'm not going to explain step by step exactly to explain what the scope is, what are the other, because you need to read the files that I've just shown it to you. These they will explain, and especially if you cannot attend the Adobe Connect session, and you cannot attend the interaction, and you can not have an online interaction with your teacher, those files are very, very important to you. So you should read them before you attempt to do this. Of course, if you are the student that already knows it all and you know exactly what to do, and you can quickly make up a good assignments, that's all we are interested in, to ensure that you understand and you are competent in what you are doing. Okay, so the current situation, and have a look at how it is laid out. The document that I've just shown you, it will show the all-in point form. This is 2.0 executive summary, 2.1 current situation and strategic environment. In this section you set out the problem that the business case is responded to in the strategic environment. For example, the company is doing well in the marketplace, its ICT infrastructure may be functional, but it's heavy on the use of electricity, and thus the company does not have an image of being environmentally friendly. That's a good reason for the company to say, hey, we need to wake up, we need to do something about it, and this business case was initiated. And your discussion must tell the company's sustainability story, and you should use graphs, reference material, image to tell the story of the current ICT situation. Where do they stand now, and what this business case is going to solve? The discussion must be convincing enough to inspire the reader on the necessity to empower ICT sustainability to create a company-wide sustainable environment. So this document, this business case, it's very widely used, and it is a must document if you work for a system analysis and design company. You may entertain the idea of becoming a systems analyst, to become an infrastructure engineer, and probably technically you can already do so. However, this course may have given you or may give you a lift into this by specializing you in the understanding of creating the proper documentations in order that you can push ahead, all the technical side into the reality of selling a system, in the reality of empowering the corporations to be sustainable in their green skills environment. So then we read always the special notes here on to the right, and the review of existing documentation described that you have actually done before in assignment 1 described the shortcomings of the company ICT sustainability. This business case is in response to the issues identified in this document and endeavors to create a more sustainable ICT environment. Now you can also refer to previously identified company reports that triggered the current business case. Now you look with the corporation which you are working on, you can investigate a little bit onto the past history, and coupled with all the things that we have done, you can create this section of the document 2.1 in describing the current situation of that the company currently enjoys. Then the scope. The scope states the proposed investment that is the modified ICT infrastructure that integrates sustainability in this ICT planning design project. So you have done all the technical part in assignment number 1, but now you state the business objective that options for a new ICT enable investments. Right. So if you are going to start deploying virtualization, blade servers, or move everything or part of your ICT infrastructure onto the cloud, you're going to have certain objectives. What are you trying to achieve by doing all of this? So here you explain how the ICT investment will assist the company in delivering its outputs and outcomes in a sustainable way. So after you have deployed all of these changes, where will the company be as far as the sustainability is concerned? How more sustainable they are going to be? In the please note says you can include information provided in the review of existing documentation section of assignment 1. However, this information must be customized to satisfy these sections requirement. Next we move on to the current technical environment. Now here we're going to be a little bit technical, and you need to describe as follows. Describe the current situation from the current technical perspective. The technical environment section documents relevant components of your current ICT baseline that is before the proposed project deployment. For example, in this section, you should briefly describe the ICT infrastructure, both hardware and software, voice and data communication facilities, if deployed, ICT workforce skills and numbers, identified security issues. For example, if you are working on the case study prior to the proposed network upgrade, what was their ICT infrastructure requirement? It was very poor. They had peer-to-peer networks, things of the 1990s. Yes, the company was very profitable still, but they lost market shares because of the daunting problems that they had. They didn't want to invest a couple $1 million for to upgrade drastically all their operational sites, and they were sitting on the money, not spending them, and of course their market shares started dwindling until in 2012 Galen Wilson was appointed as managing director, and he said, oh no, this cannot continue, we got to do something about it. And that's how the Walmedi Corporation moved on towards achieving the technological advantage and integrating ICT sustainability in those new IT projects. So in this section, you must describe any gaps that the executive summary must address to meet the required objectives. So the gaps that we have from the before to the deployment, they must be identified in here. And next we're going to look at the business problems. Here you need to state the previously identified practical business problems, that options for the new sustainable environment. Here you explain how the proposed ICT infrastructure upgrades assists in achieving the company's policy and service delivery objectives. And in ICT infrastructure upgrade, investment may address several business problems, including but not limited to what it is written here. However, if you look at the case study, it is full of problems. They are all listed there. All you need to do is to understand what the problems are and analyze them, and then put them into your own words. You can continually to make assumptions if you're using the case study. If you're using your workplace as a reference, I'm sure you will also do equally same. So some of the things in the business problem world, they could be supporting stakeholders' priorities and business needs, and you need to explain what that is. Enhancing the level of service delivery to stakeholders, you explain. Reducing the company costs and increase profits, you explain how. Overcoming the limitations or constraints of the current solutions, and you give examples and others and so on. We do have a please note over here which says you can include information provided in the review of existing documentation sections of assignment 1. However, this information must be customized to satisfy this requirement. And our next stop is the stakeholder impact. What impact does it have onto the stakeholders? During the sustainability planning and design phase, a number of stakeholders were identified. You would have talked, if you look up within the case study, you would have interacted through the document with Galen Wilson, which is the CEO, Stephen Roach, the system analyst, Katrina Barnes, which is a major shareholder, and Fred Smith, the warehouse manager. Again, you can make assumptions in the real world. You can change the names. You don't have to put the real names, just change the names. You can even change the positions. If you live in a world of confidentiality, you need to respect that confidentiality. You just change all the names, and I'm sure you can come up with any names suitable for you to do this. So you have a look at how the stakeholder, the role and the contribution was made. Galen Wilson was the CEO, initiated the needs analysis and this business case. Stephen Roche was a system analyst from System Analysis and Design. He conducted the needs analysis report submitted on the 1st of June 2012. So this guy initiated it, this guy carried out, and then who more were consulted? Katrina was a major shareholder and provided the background of the company position in the marketplace and other historical analysis. So here in the stakeholder impact, you note all the positive and negative stakeholder impact are listed, and the contributions from stakeholders need to be acknowledged as shown into the table that I've just explained. The next step is the strategic alignment. This is very important because you need to identify the proposed system, how the proposed system aligns with your company's objectives. If the company objectives was to reduce CO2 emissions by 20%, does this the solution confirms that? Does it fulfills that particular need, the particular problem that they were trying to resolve? Now you need to identify in your document how this proposed response, this business case that you are doing, the implementation of these network upgrades or the whole new system, or just partially migrating to the cloud and so on, right? So how does it align with the company policies? For example, if the company policies is to keep all the employees and not to make any employee redundant, bringing all the service to the cloud, bringing more automation will not be compatible by keeping all the employees, wouldn't it? Okay, so if the company policies was to cut cost dramatically, well, then this will fulfill the company policies by implementing more automations, by reducing cost, moving down into the cloud some of the services, which will reduce a number of employees and save money by reducing costs. So obviously it aligns with the company's strategic environment, and this is what you actually need to say. So where relevant, provide a specific reference, assume that these documents exist into the World Medic Corporation library, or you may propose its deployment as part of the operational policies and procedures. So these are the documents that I've just mentioned above. For example, the ICT customization and development policy, the ICT skills policy, cybersecurity policy, cloud computing strategy, open software, open source software policy, open source free software, right? So therefore, do we have any policy towards it to reduce cost, virtualization deployment, environmental sustainability of ICT, procurement policy, all the policies that you believe that they would help you to assign, and you know exactly what these policies are, okay, you can assume that they are into your company library. There is a please note over here. Having identified the why of the business case, the proposed response starts to articulate the what is being proposed to be done in response. Now you include the description of the proposed sustainability integration system solution, i.e. server virtualization and blade service implementation, if these are what you need to do or you are proposing, including any evidence that this will be an effective response to the current situation. And this section should focus on the what is being done, right, being proposed as a response, rather than how that response can be delivered. Alright, so now the next point, 2.7, is the implementation of the technical environment. As you can now see, this is a very thorough document. You don't have to enter a lot of information in here. As such, you just respond to the points on which you are required, like in this case, post-implementation technical environment. Well, here you need to describe the future state of the technical environment. What is going to look like after we have deployed this, okay? So, for example, we're moving all our server services to the cloud. What is going to look like our ICT department? It's going to look smaller for start. Second, it depend entirely onto the cloud. If our cloud provider like Microsoft Azure, for example, so well, what is going to look like? We're totally depending on them. We haven't got no servers here. If something happens, well, are we done? Right? So this is what you need to discuss is post-implementation technical environment. Now your discussion must tell the story, and you should use a graph, reference material, images to tell the story that shows a window into the future, the post-implementation reality. This is what you need to address, post-implementation reality. And in the please note, look, it says the technical environment should describe the vision of the future state of the organization. What will be different about the current situation from both the technical and business perspective as a result of the proposed response. Next, the benefit. You now start listing the benefits of this implementation. You provide a statement of the benefits, both tangible are a benefit that can be measured. Like, for example, from day one of deployment, the server energy consumption will be reduced by 20%. Now, that is tangible. We can see it and can be measured. All right. While intangible, they cannot be measured. Like, it's going to push our corporations to the leading edge of technology. That is fine, but what benefit do I get? I can't measure that, right? So include the information on how benefits will be measured and the expected targets to be achieved for each measure. For example, reduction of CO2 emissions by 20%. Include interim and longer term benefits, also identified disadvantages. So yes, you talk about the benefit, but what would be disadvantages? For example, you initiate cloud computing, right? And what will be the benefit? Well, you list all the benefits. What will be the disadvantage? One of the disadvantages is that you put your whole corporation into the hands of an entity that is beyond your ability to control. Now, what if you miss a payment? They will say, okay, you didn't pay, they block you. So you got no computer, you got nothing to do. They're doing the backups, they do everything, all right? So you have absolutely no control, all right? So that's a disadvantage. So we then move to the proposal summary.